The UFC returns to London this weekend with a familiar face in the main event as former welterweight champion Leon Edwards looks to bounce back after losing the title to Belal Muhammad last year, taking on rising contender Sean Brady. Now, if you guys remember, this was actually supposed to be Leon Edwards against Jack Della Maddalena. And unfortunately, we got Maddalena now fighting Belal Muhammad, and we get a completely different stylistic matchup for Leon Edwards now, going from fighting a striker in Jack Della Maddalena to now fighting a grappler in Sean Brady. So we'll see if Edwards can solve the puzzle of Brady. Obviously, you guys are here for the quick picks for this UFC London card. Reminder, I dropped a full card breakdown for this, going over an hour, talking about all 13 fights, getting nice and in depth for each one. But for this segment, I'll be getting right to the point for every single matchup, which obviously means I'll be leaving out some details on certain matchups. So if you want to know a little bit more about a specific matchup, check out the MMA Logcast, which I dropped earlier this week. You can find it on my YouTube channel or check the link in the description below and give that a whirl as well. Just a reminder, Cage Warriors goes down the day before the UFC, and I'll have a full card breakdown for that on Thursday, so make sure you guys tune in for that on the YouTube channel here. And then on Friday, I'll be dropping an LFA full card breakdown, which goes down after the UFC wraps up on Saturday. So a ton of MMA to digest for you guys. I got you covered with all the breakdowns and everything you need to know about all of these fights. But let's turn our attention back to the UFC and let's get right into this quick picks breakdown. Hope you're laced up and ready to go because we're off and running with the first fight of the night, which is between Kutateladze and Fernandes. I believe the overall game here from the Muay Thai to the wrestling of Kutateladze should nullify most of Fernandez's offense. From there, I think we'll see Kutateladze eventually cruise to a decision victory. Next up, we got Nathan Fletcher going up against Loughran. Now, this is a matchup of a fight that was an amateur fight way back in the day, over 6 years ago. And that night, Fletcher came out on top by being the slightly slicker grappler. But I think Loughran has made a tremendous improvement since that time. And I believe his strength and physicality will allow him to shut down the grappling game of Fletcher and keep him on the defensive, allowing Loughran to grind this fight out and get back to his winning ways. Next up, Bannon going up against Tomar. Very low-level matchup all around here. Neither woman very threatening for finishes, but Bannon's jiu-jitsu game could potentially cause Tomar some issue here. But even if this just strictly plays out in the striking realm, as most of their fights do, I think Bannon's variety of strikes will trump the kicking game of Tomar, leading to Bannon either winning this fight on the scorecards or eventually snatching up a submission. Next up, Christian Leroy Duncan going up against Andre Pulyaev. I think Duncan is far more athletic, far more powerful, and way quicker on the feet, and that will ultimately lead to him finding the knockout in the second or third round. Next up, Marcin Tybura going up against Mick Parkin. The UFC has done a great job of bringing Parkin up nice and slowly, and now he faces a very tough veteran. But I think Parkin's athletic advantages here, from his striking advantage to even some grappling that people have yet to see, will be too much for the aging Tybura to deal with, which will lead to Parkin eventually finding the finish late in this fight or winning it on the scorecards. Next up, Lonnie Kavanagh going up against Felipe dos Santos. Kavanagh is one of the hottest prospects to come out of the UK in a while, and I think that he'll be able to showcase those chops here against dos Santos. Dos Santos might be able to make it close early, but as Kavanagh's damage starts to pile up, I think he'll cause dos Santos to break, allowing Kavanagh to get a late finish or win it on the scorecards. Next up, Herbert going up against Chris Padilla. Seems like the betting public is on the Padilla side, as this line went from about plus 120 on Padilla down to pick'ems, but I have to disagree. I think Herbert is a cleaner striker, and I think we've been seeing an improvement in his striking defense and durability as of late, and that should allow him to operate at distance, touching Padilla up, and eventually winning this fight on the scorecards. Next up, Nathaniel Wood going up against Morgan Charriere. Wood is now 4-1 as a featherweight, and I think this is the weight class he should have been at the entire time. I think we'll see him showcase his output advantage, as well as some slick grappling that could keep Charriere on the defensive for the most part, and I also think that Wood's activity level will lead to him winning this fight optically and on the scorecards. Next up, Jordan Vucenic going up against Chris Duncan. Although I think the line is a little bit wide here, I expect Vucenic to put together a better body of work, which will eventually lead to him winning this fight on the scorecards. I think the over 1.5 is probably the best way to win this fight for Vucenic, or at least bet this fight. But I think Vucenic is the side, and I think he wins it on the scorecards. Next up, Molly McCann going up against short notice replacement Alexia Thainara. I think this is a solid spot for Thainara to utilize her overall game to thwart McCann. McCann might be a little bit more powerful, but I think Thainara will be able to get this into the grappling realm and keep McCann kind of on her back foot or even just on her back. And I think that will allow her to either open up a submission victory or winning this fight on the scorecards. But I have to go with the Brazilian to get the nod. Next up, Gunnar Nelson coming in against Kevin Holland. Nelson does not fight that often anymore, but when he does, he still showcases a very superb jiu-jitsu game. I think he'll be able to showcase that once again here, eventually getting the body lock, dragging this fight to the ground, and eventually finding the back and wrapping up a submission win over Kevin Holland. Co-main event time as we got Jan Blachowicz going up against Carlos Ulberg. I have to lean with the striking advantage of Ulberg, not to mention Blachowicz coming back from an injury, long layoff, and being 42 now, really not the best case scenario going up against a strong athletic striker like Carlos Ulberg. Look for Ulberg to shut down the takedowns of Blachowicz, touch him up on the feet, and win this fight on the scorecards. Main event time now as we got Leon Rocky Edwards going up against Sean Brady. I think we've seen good enough takedown defense from Edwards in the past, and given the style of Brady's wrestling compared to what Bilal was able to do against Edwards, I think Edwards should be able to survive the early onslaught of the takedowns from Brady and start stopping them in the second, third, and fourth rounds, where he'll eventually be able to showcase his striking advantage, and that could either lead to a late knockout or Edwards getting his hand raised on the scorecards based on more damage. There you guys go. Quick picks for UFC London. A ton of content dropping this week. Again, not just the usual UFC stuff, but we got Cage Warriors breakdowns on Thursdays, LFA breakdown on Friday. A ton of content. Just check out the YouTube page, and I got something for everybody. You guys will very much enjoy it and take a lot of good information from these videos and segments. So make sure you guys take full advantage of that. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow for the Cage Warriors breakdown, as well as the Lockheed two-step / Lockheed Trinity free parlay segment. See you guys then. Peace.